Welcome back. We're back at it again. Today we're playing a 10-minute game on chess.com with the black pieces against a 1793 from Egypt. We play c6 no matter what because that's how you learn openings. If you play the same thing every time, you slowly learn over time. That's been my method. So we're going to maybe in the future go for trapping this dark square bishop. We're going to pin the knight. Nothing crazy. If the pawn comes, we scoot out of the way. We make our little Egyptian pyramid. Even though this guy is from Egypt, we are the one with the pyramid. Probably we're just going to come out here, and if we trade this off, I'm quite happy with it. If this knight goes anywhere, we'll probably just trade this off, and I'm all right with trading stuff down. Okay, so he castles. I'm going to go ahead and castle. This pawn break seems like a great idea, so I can have a square for my knight. Now, our first little think of the game. We're going to go here. If this happens, we'll scoot back, supporting this. This will be my idea. We go here. If this happens, we take. He'll take back, but now there's an open file to play with. So we're going to go for the open file. This all of a sudden seems a little flimsy. So what if I jump in, take? This would be hanging, so that's not excellent. He probably is just going to go for trading off all of the pieces here. I can also attack the queen like this, but I think we're going to just go for this little doubling up maneuver. So, like so. And we're just going to trade off all of the pieces. What do I want to take with the queen, or do I want to take with the rook? Because this square is defended, we're going to take with the rook. Okay. I mean, if he takes, I get the open file. If I take, then he gets the open file. My only move would be to scoot back, but then he can take me, but then my knight scoots back. So I don't love it. So maybe we just let the pressure build up and we push a pawn. He can also attack, like doing something crazy like this, but I don't think that that move is going to work. And so we are really going for this open file over here. And so what I'm going to maybe do next is scoot behind my rook. Because then I could do, okay, so he just wants to take. We're going to go ahead and take. My knight is conveniently protecting this square. This knight is still pinned. This open file is generally mine for right now. And I still have the idea of this take, because this is a nice little pin. So if we trade off. So yeah, that's probably a good move by our opponent there. I mean, if I scoot here, I walk into this. And if I scoot here, potentially I'm walking into this push. We're going to go here. More active. We're attacking the queen. Now the queen's got to do something. Like go here. Boom. Then we trade off. Okay. Okay. What is the future of this knight? Take here. My knight into the position. Your knight here attacking my pawn. Don't love it. Definitely don't love it. And I like that this knight is protecting this square. So we have really just flown through this game. Now, how defendable? I have a weakness. He really doesn't. We have the same type of weakness in this position. Like we both have these pawns over here. But I actually have this, which is actually very accessible. Very easily. A few different ways. So what if I just scoot over and say, like, what's going on, bro? Because I could go here and then jump forward. He could then pin me. Let's do that. Let's do that. I mean, he could play something like this. This pawn is wonderfully defended by my queen. Not worried about a thing in the world. This 1793 has not put the pressure on me with the black pieces. So I don't actually play on chess.com very often. So I'm wondering if my rating is really more like 1850, 1900, I might say. Just kidding. Probably not. But I'm for sure 1900 on Lichess. This is a moment of pandemonium. I can definitely just trade this off. I mean, then we go back to this kind of same exact position. I can also scoot my knight forward, and if he takes, I take, he takes, I go here. His knight would probably have to scoot back, and I could defend like this. No, I couldn't because the queen would see this. So what happens if I jump forward? take, 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 knight forward, take here. That leaves you with a weakness. Or here, 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 and you decide to go back attacking that pawn. If I push forward to defend it, the queen does in fact see this with check. So I hate to do it, but I feel like maybe just taking kind of pulls your queen over there. I could then jump into the position. Then I'm the one kind of doing stuff. You can quite quickly go back over here. But this knight does defend this. So I think we're going to go for that. I'm going to step over here. And I am attacking this pawn if your queen, leaves protecting it. He can kind of do the same thing, which I just don't want to allow. So I feel like this is the move. He can attack, but then I pin. Okay. It's a very reasonable move. He could definitely just enter the position. Would love for him to have a weakness. I have a very identifiable weakness in the position. What if I step forward? Take here. You could hit my knight. But then I'm over here. I think we go for this. Because if he takes, I jump over, and then this is no longer a weakness. And this pawn pushing, I'm not super confident about it. Okay, bro. What if I just push forward? He can then push forward for me? No, he can't. So I push forward. He's probably going to find a way to... Like, what if I scoot in? Does that do anything for me? What if I jump forward? Take, take, take. Here, here. I'm okay with just letting this happen, I feel like. So maybe I jump through. Let him take. I take. His knight goes back. Four minutes against 8. We're just going to play it. Let's go into an endgame. I'm not 100% sure who's winning or losing. Definitely we've got this stare off going over here. Okay. So I'm just going to take. Fairly certain that I have to do that. If he goes back, I defend like this. Then my king has a beautiful way kind of to get into this position. Ah. Delicious. So we go here. We're going to have to defend this, I would imagine. This guy's definitely coming in. If I hit him, he then just goes here. Right? So here, here, here. Here, here. That's what he wants, right? Then I come forward. We're doing it. This is also can be defended quite quickly. If he takes this, I go here. So here, 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 you get a queen. So do I really have to defend super awkwardly like this? Is that really what's happening right now? What if I scoot forward? I'm defending the pawn. Advancement. Because just taking is not going to work. So scared. I would really like to get rid of these knights. This position is too complicated for me. I can also start sort of trying to get my own idea. Ah, definitely just forks my guys. Okay, that's wonderful. So if I go here, 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 here with check, I scoot forward. You would go over here. Then I touch the pawn. What am I supposed to do? I can also just attack, but then he pushes. Then it's a wrap. I feel like I gotta bring my king. We bring the king. We give up this pawn. He goes this way to support it. I then shimmy around like this. He pushes. I come in. Oof. I can also go here. Push. Here. Right? Come in. The push isn't going to work. We're scooting in. This isn't going to work because I get close. Then you defend. But then I take. Then you take with check. But then I scoot in. And then if I can get a pass pawn over here. Okay. Have to play this. No other move on the board. The check comes in. I grab here. He does in fact grab my pawn. He gets another pawn. Is there a faster way? This is the moment where I'm either going to win or lose, basically. Like, I scoot in. He probably goes here. I could stall it for a second, something like this. I think I just have to do this. This is also a passed pawn. Got to be a little bit weary about that. Here. We're going for it. 1 minute. He hits me with check. Okay. He wants more pawns, but my pawn is really, really close to castle, like getting across. So what if I come in here, here, here? He could sacrifice. I mean, I got to pass pawn. You got to push it, right? He comes in. I push. He sacrifices. I just don't believe you, bro. I don't believe that he can actually stop me. Sacrifice, and I'm just going to push. Push first? Oh, dear Lord. Oh my God. I'm screwing it up on time. If he can just push, he can just keep pushing. Now this all of a sudden does become kind of a problem. Okay, we're going to take. Here, push. This is blocked. This will work. My knight is just beautifully in the way of this. So I feel like I'm going to have to give up. Have to play it. Here, he takes. We block like this. It prevents anything from moving forward. Then I push. Then I push. I mean, we take. Conveniently, we hold everything. I don't think there's a huge need to rush, because neither one of his pawns are moving forward. This pawn is moving forward. We're going to take here. We're blocking this. And then even when his king does get close enough, here, I mean, we go here, here, Don't know what to play. He's got to move away from the pawn, I believe. Here. Here. Don't know what I'm trying to do. I got 7 seconds. Here. I want this knight not in the way. Oh my goodness. I'm really screwing this up. I'm screwing this up. Oh my god. Oh my god. Look at the clock. Look at the clock. What's my heart rate? What is my heart rate? I need to tell you guys right now. Deep breath. Deep breath. I was completely winning, but the time situation got a little hectic. 80 beats per minute. I guess I'm not. I'm not all that hyped. Oh my goodness. We need to check this with the computer. How do you even do it on chess.com? I don't even think it has a good analysis. Here we are in the analysis, and oh boy, what a game that was. I cannot believe that I actually won that. But now, after the game is over, checking out the graph, had everything under control, baby. Through the opening, I'm winning. Middle game, oh, actually, he's winning. He's slight advantage for white. And then right here in the end game, basically he went for gobbling up some extra pawns, and I went for promoting my outside passed pawn. And so there was one moment where I threw it away to a draw, but calculating that it was a draw would be impossible. More or less, you would have to go off intuition. I got 3 inaccuracies, 2 blunders, 89% accurate. Our opponent, 4 inaccuracies, 2 mistakes, 3 blunders, 86% accurate. A close, well-fought game where our opponent plays d4 and I start with c6. The best opening in the world. Play c6 with the black pieces no matter what you face, because you avoid a lot of nonsense. And so this part is not super. Can we see the computer gauge? Yes, we can. We trade off the pieces. We castle. We bring the knight. Our queen gets kicked in the face. We scoot back to support this pawn push over here. This is going to be crucial. We make the pawn push. He defends, and we take. Now, the reason for that is we have this open file to play on. And I have played the Caro-Kann, and this isn't the Caro-Kann, but it's a situation that I have faced many, many times. You get the open file, and it's very, very important. So we're going to fight over that open file. Now, I did mention this move and that I wasn't afraid of it. I'm still not super afraid of it, and now it's saying that the best move is actually to scoot over, so it makes sense. The computer is going to recommend this move again, but it's not scary. I was supposed to take with the queen. I took with the rook, and I push a pawn. Here I wasn't sure what to do. Breaking in the middle makes sense. It's defended twice. This makes sense so that my bishop can have a future like this, or just taking, and then fighting along this would have made sense as well. We don't go for any of that. We trade off the pieces, and again, I'm supposed to trade my bishop because I've got all of these pawns on light squares. This knight is trying to come to the center, so this knight is stuck all the way back here guarding the advancement of this knight. So I should have just gone for this trade. It doesn't matter. It's a completely equal position. We trade, and best move. I realized, let's make the trade happen over here so I can sneak on in, and my queen is all of a sudden kind of active. So the best move, I block. He pushes forward, and I had the opportunity to, for one, question him before he questions me, or he can't do it yet, but I could have advanced a pawn, and definitely what we want to do is start advancing pawns because we're in an endgame, or scoot the king over, like realizing that this weakness is going to need to be defended by my king, because if this falls, this is a passed pawn. Exactly what happened in the game. We trade off some pieces, and it looks like maybe I am at a disadvantage here. He kicks me forward, I scoot over, he scoots in, and I make a more or less blunder of the position. I hit the knight, but what I was supposed to do was scoot in. If he hits me with this check, I scoot up. Then if he takes, I take. This pawn is not turning into a queen. You're just going to lose that pawn. And you can't defend it because I'm just going to take. And you can't take this because I'm just going to take. And so this is a weakness, but only when knights are on the board. So I needed to take this moment and just scoot my king over, realizing this is a problem. I need my king over here. This knight is super awkward in defending this. We're doing like ring around the rosy, trying to defend this pawn from pushing forward. We let the check in. I scoot forward. Then I get the right idea. Now here, he could have grabbed the pawn, but this pawn is also going to fall. So when he gets in here, most likely, almost guaranteed, I'm going to win this pawn. So he gets the wrong idea and he fully invests in his one asset is he's trying to advance his pawn. But it doesn't work now because my king is too close. We scoot in. We are touching the pawn and the promotion square. He hits me with the check. I scoot over. He hits me with the check again. And it was the wrong idea. It was the wrong idea simply because this pawn was very important for the position. This pawn is not super, super important, or this one, really. What's important is I have a 2-on-1 over here, and I kind of made the commitment of like, forget it. We're going this way. We're coming in. We're getting rid of this, and then I have a 2-on-0 with a knight that can somehow participate later, maybe. And so I realized he's going for these pawns. I realized I was going to lose, either this one or this one and this one. I don't think those pawns were super, super important. We go for this. We get the idea. We win this pawn. I now have 2 passed pawns, and he had no real chance. I'm supposed to realize that he can sacrifice for this pawn, so I need to defend it with another pawn. But getting 2 pawns down the board takes twice as many moves, so I really just wanted to invest in my first one. We scoot back, and this is just a blunder. He could have scooted forward, then scooted forward and hit my knight, and then pushed this one, and he could have won tempo in the position. It doesn't matter. We take, push. I'm 1 square away from promoting. He hits the right idea, and now I'm supposed to bring a second pawn. I scoot forward, and I threw this away to a draw. I know that it says -1 right here, but if you really run through it, I go forward, you bring the king, I push, you're here, I take. He doesn't need to take back. He comes over here because being on this diagonal is very important rather than this diagonal. Very important endgame technique because you realize this is the important diagonal and not this one. We push the pawn. He pushes. I go forward. He goes forward again. I hop into the position. He has to take. I take. Boom. It's not a check. He gets a queen. And then I can either win a pawn, scoot here, and defend this pawn push from being a check. But it's most likely going to be a draw. The computer says it's a draw, but I'm still actually pretty confident that I can win this. I can like check here, and then I'm defending the knight. I think that it would be harder for our opponent to win because I've got an extra knight, obviously. This extra pawn, because I can just take it. Going to be hard for our opponent here. But we're talking about a lot of what ifs. Basically, he committed to winning as many pawns as he could. Like, he is up pawns. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 against 2. But I've got a 2 against nothing. And at the end of the day, it's whoever makes a queen first that's going to win the game. So we'll go through with what actually happened. We come forward. We get rid of his only last piece, and still it's a draw because he can basically go for the same idea where this is just going to take a while and my king is blocking the check. Okay? So it's still a draw, but he had to go with this idea. This was the worst move ever because my knight is able to jump in here, defending the promotion square and preventing this from pushing forward, and you can't dislodge me with any other pawns. So your only other bet is to jump forward with these pawns, but even once they get far enough, I can just take, and I'm still going to just take, and I'm still defending this. It's a terrible, terrible situation for our opponent. He gets the right idea. We take, I can take, and he still can't push them. This knight is actually geometry, like a geometrical god, basically. We take, we jump, We're still defending the promotion scare. We push, push, push. We're here. At this point, we really just need to win this pawn because I had like less than a second on the clock. We're trying to bring the king. We get the pawn. And I'm almost a little bit embarrassed about this queen and king checkmate. I was really afraid, so I wanted to make as many pre-moves as I can. I've practiced this many, many times, and there's a better way to do it. What were all these moves? It didn't take all these moves. But in a real game, I was afraid of losing on time. What you're supposed to do is something like this, where you bring this, you come in, I get my king here. What are we trying to do? Here. Cut you off again. You're over here. Okay, that's checkmate. That's not what I'm trying to show you. There's a way where you put your king here and your queen here, or here and here, or here, here and here, and here and here. And you do like a ring around checkmate thing. So either way, that was probably way longer than it needed to be. 9 minutes. Actually, that endgame was quite complicated. 2 main things. 3 main things. Something that you should just know. Okay? The checkmating with the queen, I'll get better at it. In this situation, check where is going to be the diagonal that's important. So my queen isn't checking with the diagonal, so it's not as important, but check where you're going to promote. And so if it's a situation like this, where you push past or you take, forget about the knight being there. It's important to realize what's the important diagonal, okay? And so you just got to check, okay? You just got to check. And then the only other thing is masterclass in this knight doing some defense over here. A knight stopping 2 pawns like this is just kind of a pattern that you should know about. And still defending. What else was there? Doesn't matter if you're up pawns. It matters how close is the enemy's passed pawn. So our opponent just made a simple mistake trying to grab pawns when I fully invested in my passed pawns. He should have invested in his pawns first and made a passed pawn himself. The only other thing, I don't know. Trade off, put your piece in active squares, get better at chess. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are the best. I love you. I'll see you next time.